Yes, we are back, and we are being joined by another regular here on Cage Side Submissions, our good friend, Mr. Nate Jennerman. Nate's going to be hotting back there on the cage, back for LFA. How we feeling, brother?
Yes,
We're
sir.
getting closer and closer, right?
Yes, sir. It's 5 more days till fight night. Excited to be back on the show. Love coming on here and talking with you guys. So, yeah, excited for the fight this Friday night, LFA 20.
And if memory serves me, your one of your four is going to be on the same card, is he not, or is he on the following week?
One of my what?
Sean, isn't Sean West going to be on the card like the week after you or something?
I think he's on the same exact card.
Oh, he is on the same exact card.
Yeah, I think he's earlier in the night.
Yeah, he's taking on Melvin Bloomer.
Yep. Yeah.
13-3 Melvin Bloomer.
Yeah.
Have you guys
I think they're on the
undercard?
undercard.
Because I know you guys had words after the fight. He was making all kinds of excuses and running his mouth on social media. Did you guys kind of bury the hatchet, or you're just hoping to kind of avoid any awkwardness with you guys?
Yeah, I haven't talked to him since. I don't plan on talking to him. Anything he does, it don't matter to me. That's in the past.
Yeah.
Not going to give him the
Exactly.
A lot of times, you get emotional after fighting, and guys say things that maybe they don't necessarily mean, but sometimes you guys wind up kind of burying the hatchet, putting things aside. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said this or whatever, but obviously this isn't one of them cases, so I'm gonna just let that one go.
Right. Yeah, we'll just let it go. Nothing good's gonna come of it, so it'll be all good.
So Nate,
Hey.
I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready to get nasty?
Oh, I am. It's time to get nasty.
The Wolfman.
Just a final few pounds of weight cutting this week. Thursday night we weigh in.
Yeah.
Friday night it's time to get nasty. I'm excited.
You're taking on the
just
Wolfman.
Ready to get out there. Yep, the Wolfman, Bobby Moffett. I respect my opponent a lot. He's really good. Black belt in jiu-jitsu. Wrestler. So kind of been my kryptonite in the past, but this time it's going to be different. I've had some breakthroughs in training with my jiu-jitsu coach, Daniel Wanderley, and my striking coach, Scott Cushman. We've had some breakthroughs this camp. I'm coming in better than I've ever been before, and you're going to see a totally different me, just like always. I'm always better in my next fight than my last fight.
And Nate, didn't you say that on the last show that if you don't challenge yourself, what the hell are you doing fighting in the first place? So, I mean, this guy's got a lot of submissions under his belt. You wanted to have a challenge. So, hey, this is the challenge that's made. LFA 20 is when it's going down. And like you said, you wanted to stay active. How important is it for you to continually stay active here in LFA?
Yeah, honestly, I love staying active. Last year where I just had the fight in January and March, and then I didn't fight again until March of this year. That was hard for me to go a year without fighting. That's a very long time. And then this year, since March, I've already rattled off 3 fights since March this year, and about to have my 4th one this year. And quite honestly, I'd like to have at least 1 more this year, if not 2, depending on how everything goes. I'm not looking past Bobby at all, but after I beat Bobby, I just, I want that LFA title shot. I want to take that belt, and I want to bring it to Wisconsin where it belongs, and then we go on from there. Anybody that I have to fight to get to where I want to be, it doesn't matter to me. I'll fight anybody. I'm ready to keep going. I'm trying to be the best in the world. I'm training every day with the intentions of being the best in the world. So I'm making my way up, and I'm just going to keep chugging along and keep putting people in front of me. I'm going to keep whooping that ass, and I'm going to keep going.
Real quick, Steve, a little side note to that is your opponent hasn't fought since it looks like December of 2016. So
Yeah,
I guess
he
he's looking to make
since December.
And
I think
you being
in another
active,
interview of his. Was that me being active?
explain.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Tell me what you were about to say.
Oh, he had said in an interview that he hasn't fought since December, but he's been trying, and a lot of people have turned down the fight, I guess. So.
Oh wow.
People are afraid to fight him, but I'm not afraid to fight anybody, so I'm ready to go out there and take it to him.
And you never have been. You never have been afraid to fight anybody. That's the kind of mentality you have to have. I mean, we talk to all of our guests tonight. We asked Jessica Borga. I said, would you back down from Cyborg and say I don't want to defend my belt if I won this belt? And she'd be like, hell no. And same thing with Carl. He's like, I'm not going to back down from anybody. And it's the guys and girls that are backing down from fighters. I mean, why are they even in this to begin with? That's what we're pretty much the topic that's been on our mind tonight.
Yeah, guys who try to avoid and handpick their fights and try to fight as many cans as possible. I don't know what they're doing. You're not going to get you're not getting to the UFC just fighting cans, and B, if you make it to the UFC and you're turning down fights, the UFC is going to get fed up with you real quick. They're pretty much mentality. It's like you take this fight or you sit on the shelf. Like you just need to take the fights that people are giving you. You take the fight, and that's what you got to do with it. If you think you're the best, you should be able to beat anybody. What's it matter who's across from you then?
Now, you're always one of these guys who like you said, wants challenges. You want to fight for that LFA title as soon as humanly possible. You want to get more fights in this year. One of the things you always talk about is testing yourself and getting better. In that time away from the cage, what was one of the things that you felt that you improved the most on? Both as a person and even as a fighter in the cage.
In my time off for that year?
Yeah.
I mean, I was training still, and we were trying to get fights for that year, and nothing. I mean, a lot of things just happened to slip through at the last minute. We were close to fighting out in Rhode Island a couple times. It just didn't happen. I was always training. Until like the last month and a half of the year when I was really, my wife and I, well, my fiance and I at the time, we're planning the wedding, we're getting all that ready, and we had just bought a house together. So it was just a lot of things all at once. So other than that last month and a half of the year, I was training through all that. I was getting better that whole time. And honestly, I would say one of the biggest things was I felt like I was really stagnant with my jiu-jitsu. I just wasn't getting any better. All the guys around me were growing way faster than I was. I wasn't getting there. And me and my coach, Daniel Wanderley, had a breakthrough with that, got much better at that. And then, like I said, recently I just had another breakthrough with my striking with Scott Cushman. And it's going to show Friday night at LFA 20. So everybody make sure to tune in because you're going to see the best Nate Jennerman that there's ever been yet.
Love it, brother. Now, I got to ask you, over there in Wisconsin, you guys are churning out more and more guys. More and more guys are getting recognition from your gym. You're one of these guys who's kind of starting to make a name for yourself. If you could show one of your upcoming teammates some love that maybe the promoters or the fans don't really know much about, who would you kind of throw some love to, brother?
There's so many. There's a lot of guys have been getting love. Rafael Stas has been getting a lot of love lately. But somebody who's been under the radar for a while because he didn't fight for a long time. He finally fought last weekend at our LFA 19 and got a first-round sub, and that's JP St. Louis. I mean, dude fights at 170. He's a beast. I get to train with him quite a bit. We actually work together too, so we're good friends, and he he's under the radar, and he's going to be coming up quick because he had a 19-month layoff, but he wasn't out of the gym. He was in the gym working hard, and he is going to take over by storm right here.
And also you got Sergio. He's got a big fight coming up too, right?
Sergio just had a huge fight. He just fought Brandon Moreno. Pretty much. I mean, outside of the first round, dominated Brandon Moreno from the second round through the whole fifth round. He went out there and executed perfectly. In elevation, never looked tired at all, and dominated.
Yeah, you gotta love when you get you get something like that, and you can just kind of put a stamp on it. You know what I mean? Hopefully, maybe by this time next year he could be vying for that title, man.
Yeah, I think he's really close. I think if they give him one more fight before the title fight, take care of business there, and then I don't see anything after. If he wins one more, you have to give him the title shot. I mean, he's the only guy in that top 5 on a win streak right now that hasn't fought for it. So give him that shot. He's ready for it. He's one of the hardest workers I know. He's always in the gym, working hard, running, doing whatever he can to work, and he's going to be the champ one day. That's for sure.
Now, that's another thing is, he's arguably fighting, one of the perennial, pound for pound best fighters in the world right now. Demetrius Johnson's on an amazing run. Basically hasn't lost in that weight class, ever. And it's kind of the thing. What's going to catch him? Is it going to be a talented young guy like Sergio, or do you think time is going to be the ultimate factor that plays into when Demetrius actually slips up?
Right. I mean, I might be a little biased, but I think that if they fight, Sergio beats him. He's never faced somebody as good as Sergio, as technical as Sergio is in the stand-up. I think that'll just be a difference maker. But you can't take anything from Demetrius Johnson. I mean, the guy, it's been amazing. Other than that small hiccup against Ian McCall where it ended up being a draw, I mean, he's has he even lost a round in title fights since then? He's just been incredible. Oh. He looks amazing out there,
Yeah.
Hands down,
it's rough, man.
One of the best to ever do it.
And he fights Ray Borga
now
September 9th.
Yeah. He goes for the record.
Yeah, I think he'll break the record against Ray Borg on September 9th.
Yeah, nothing against Ray. It's just, where Demetrius at and his skill set and the run that he's on, it's kind of rough to see somebody kind of knock him off, at least right now.
Right.
And
it'd be tough.
In this upcoming fight. He hasn't shown any signs of slowing down. That's the thing. Like, where you
last time he lost was 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. 6 years without a loss. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And
he fought a Dominic Cruz at the top of his game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
And he wasn't. And if memory serves me, that was a decision loss, correct? That wasn't a stoppage.
Yeah, it was a unanimous decision.
Yeah, exactly. He fought Dominic pre-surgery. That was before he'd ever had any of his injuries, and guy out of his weight class. And it just goes back. It goes back to the thing I tell everyone about when we were talking with Jeff about is about fighters fighting at the proper weight classes. And I got to ask you about this. I know a lot of it hasn't been adopted by the majority of the athletic commissions, but the ABC approved multiple weight classes being kind of brought into the fold here. What are your thoughts on that, man? Because you see some people who are kind of 50-50. Someone like, oh, it's going to be like boxing now, new champions every 5 pounds. It's going to be ridiculous. But the way I'm looking at it is, as one, that's more opportunity for you guys. Two, less chances of fight falling off due to illness for guys trying to scramble to make a weight class. I mean, I think there's pros and cons on both sides of it. But I just want to get some of these fighters' perspectives on it. What do you think? Adding the weight classes that they talk. Good.
Right. I think there's pros and cons, but I think the pros outweigh the cons all day. I think it'd be great. I know a few people who would be, I think they should, they're talking about adding the 65 and 75. I think they should nix out the 70 then and then bring in the 95 as well. I think they'd be great for the sport, especially for any fighters because that adds more champions. It's more money for at least one guy in that weight class to be the champ. A lot of people cut a lot of weight, and that jump from 70 to 55 is huge, and that jump from 70 to 85 is massive, but that jump from 85 to 205, it's just ridiculous. I mean, 20 pounds. Yeah, I know a few guys who are stuck in that where it's like, man, I got to cut a ton of weight to make 85, but I'm just not big enough to fight at 205. So I think there's a lot of people that would switch weight classes. I think I know a few teammates of mine that would be moving weight classes. I'm not going to put anybody out, but I think there'd be quite a few moves in weight classes if they were brought in. I think it'd be really good for the sport. I think it'd shake up a lot of like the title pictures. I think it'd be really good personally.
Yeah,
I think it'd be really good. It doesn't affect me at all. I'm not moving up to 65.
I don't think the UFC adopts it anytime soon either way. So.
Yeah, I don't see them adopting it real quick, but I hope they do eventually. I hope they come around to it. I hope it's done. I think it'd be really good for the sport.
I agree.
You wouldn't have so many people
weight
missing
cutting
weight.
is a big problem. I'm sorry?
You wouldn't have so many people missing weight anymore if you had all these different weight classes that were, it's not so far apart.
Right, yeah, I think less people
it's
would miss
just
weight.
discouraging as a fan, Nate.
Seeing people miss weight?
Yeah.
It's discouraging as a fighter, man.
It's especially as a pay-per-view, and
so many people miss weight against me. I think I've had 11 pro fights now. I think my opponents have missed weight. Like 4 or 5 of them have missed weight now. They've all of them have happened except for one. There was one fight where the guy I fought came in 22 pounds overweight, and we're like, yo, we can't take this fight. Yeah, 145-pound fight, weighed in at 167. And then try to tell the commission, I thought the fight was at 155. It's like, well, you're still 12 pounds off, so what are you talking about?
Yeah. Go wear 5
Yeah, it was crazy.
Go run around, run in a sauna.
Yeah. At that point, it's like, did you even try?
Yeah. Their mind was already beaten.
Now, the other aspect that's playing into the next few weeks, I got to ask you, with despite, obviously you're fighting this coming weekend, but, we're getting towards the end of the whole McGregor-Mayweather nonsense. What are your thoughts and, and how do you feel like that fight's going to want to play out?
Yeah, Mayweather-McGregor, it's a big thing right now. People are talking about it a lot. I personally think the real good boxing match coming up is Triple G and Canelo, but that's all right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Floyd and Mayweather, or Floyd and McGregor is going to be it's a spectacle. Floyd, I got Floyd winning. Personally, I don't think you're going to outbox Floyd. He's hard to hit. I just don't see it happening. But that being said, Conor has the power. He could put him down. It's possible. If he, I think he has to get it done within he's got to get it done within 3 or 4 rounds though, because anything after that, it's like you're not
I give him 6.
ready for
what I'm saying is I give him
12-round fight.
I give him 6 rounds. My thing is I give him 6 because they're not doing 5-minute rounds like he does in MMA. He's doing 3-minute rounds. So Conor's able to stretch it out a little bit longer. If it goes past 6, it's going to be a long, bad night for Conor. And what I was saying, too, is you have 2 guys who are predominantly counter-punchers. Conor isn't one of these guys who just comes in and overwhelms you. He makes you do something, he reacts, and he catches you, overexerting or just taking a step and hitting you with a counter. He's going against arguably the greatest counter boxer of the last 20 years. Safe to say that about Floyd. And he's also is such a student of boxing. It's going to be really hard for people to wrap their heads around Conor having a possibility of winning this fight. Let's be real. Conor has an absolute possibility of winning this fight because guess what? What Conor's good at is punching people, and that's what he's doing. Conor, he gets you with kicks and stuff like that. But also, stuff that I took away from things that Paulie said, even though, like, everyone's talking about the goddamn sparring video that they put out a 30-second clip or whatever. Like, dude, let's be real. We all knew what it was when Paulie went there. He's a retired guy. He hasn't been active at all the last 2 years, at least from my understanding. He already knew what that was going to be about. We've already seen videos of Conor in the past do stuff like this to other boxers, and unfortunate to Conor saying they didn't sign a non-disclosure agreement, so they wound up seeing what actually happened, where Paulie did. So, but anyways, back to my point is, Paulie said that there's going to be things that Conor's going to do in there that's going to throw Floyd off. How he goes about, entering and exiting the engagement range and stuff like that. He's going to get Floyd thinking about other things, and I think that's where he has opportunity to make Floyd pay for just lapses in time. It's going to be younger, faster, quote-unquote bigger, whatever. But at the end of the day, he still has to find a way to figure out arguably one of the best defensive boxers of the last 20 years. It's going to be interesting, but I still think Floyd, I'm with you with it. I still think Floyd gets it done, but that's just me.
Yeah, and you brought up good points. Conor doesn't move like a boxer does because he doesn't just box. So the movement's going to be different. We'll see if that plays a part and lets him catch Floyd. But personally, I just don't see it happening. I think it's very possible. I don't see how. Either way, Conor wins, though, because he's making so much more money for this fight than he's ever made before. So,
will he go defend his belt, you think?
I think he comes back to MMA for sure. Do I know who it's going to be against? Obviously not, but I think if the UFC and everybody wants to cash in big time, you put on McGregor Diaz 3 right away.
I think that's what Diaz.
And that was one of the things that was. And here's the thing: that they just brought in the interim title fight with I believe the interim title. Yeah, with Kevin Lee and El Kououi.
Kevin Lee's ranked 6th or 7th.
And what?
Which people are upset
Kevin Lee's
about.
ranked
Which people
6th
are
or
upset
7th,
about.
and he's getting the shot.
I don't have a problem with that because the only other guy that made sense
I didn't say I had a problem with it. I'm just saying that's what it is.
And obviously, anyone who's been paying attention to that whole fiasco is that I think the Mr. Manager Ali costed his boy an opportunity there, saying that he was waiting for the title. I'm with Nate on this one. I think when he comes back that the time is gonna be off, and you're gonna wind up seeing the Diaz fight before he merges the interim title with his title. Just my take.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they do Diaz McGregor 3 before anything because that's gonna be the money fight.
Nate,
it just goes along with how they've been promoting Conor. It's not about the fight that makes sense. It's about bring more eyeballs onto them.
What if Conor wins? Does he come defend his belt?
What, the boxing match?
Yeah.
What, the MMA fight or the boxing match?
No. What if he wins? He beats Floyd Mayweather, knocks him out in the second round or something. Something crazy.
I think he comes back to MMA no matter what, just because the draw is so big.
I'm with Nate there. I just think that what he'll do is he'll probably do 2 fights like back to back as quick as he can. Let's say he fights Nate, beats Nate, merges the title back with with the El Kukui Lee winner, and then
with
goes
Kevin
back
Lee.
and I wouldn't be surprised to see him fight Paulie after everything is going on, because right now, like, everyone's been talking more about the stuff that is going on between Team McGregor and Paulie than actually what's supposed to be happening in the fight. I wouldn't be surprised to see them put that together just for money reasons alone. But
I just don't think that sells at all.
I don't think it sells at all.
I don't think they could sell that fight.
In our perspective, but the simple fact that how Conor's fan base has been going after what I guess fights that they feel is interesting to them, it goes along with the lines of what they're trying to do. It's actually a couple steps down from the Mayweather fight. So it actually really all bearing on what happens with this fight next week. That's what it really comes down to. But either way, Conor McGregor's the king of the of the combat sports world right now, so to speak. So, and then we got your boy Brendan Allen on Twitter saying, "Let's go, Nasty Nate."
I just seen that. Just retweeted him. Brendan had a hell of a fight a couple weeks ago too. Puts himself right back into the middleweight title contention for LFA.
Yeah, and the guy he lost that title fight to, he looked really impressive in his UFC debut. So nothing to hang his head about. I'm looking forward to see what he does next.
Yeah, both of his losses. Both guys are in the UFC now. Both of them have knockout finishes in their UFC debut. So he's not losing his slouches. He's a beast. He's ready to go. Get him another fight. He's ready.
I've been paying attention to him. Hopefully we can work out something and get Brendan on the show here before his next time in the cage. But Nate,
I'm sure he's
brother, it's always a pleasure to have you on here to talk, catch up with you and all that. How we do this thing, man. Throw it over to you. Anyone you would like to thank, training partners, teammates, shoot out your social media sites, sponsors, anything like that. The time is yours, brother.
All right, perfect. As always, appreciate coming on here. It's always a good time. I love talking with you guys. So I guess, you can follow me on Twitter at NastyNateMMA, and then on Instagram, the handle is NastyNateMMA again. Keep it real simple. It's all the same. Shout out all my coaches down at Rufus Sport, Duke Rufus, Scott Cushman, Daniel Wanderlei. These guys are helping me out day in, day out. The breakthroughs we've been having lately are awesome, and, we're ready to go. A couple of teammates of mine that have been helping me out a lot lately. Craig Eckelberg, who's got a fight coming up. Shout out to him. O'Day Osborne, he's got a fight coming up. He's been helping me out a lot lately. Rafael Stott's been helping me out a lot lately. Chris Wright giving me the same look. As always, working with JP St. Louis, like we talked about earlier. Shout out to Oscar Askar. I've been working with him. My boys, Brian Bautista, Christian Rodriguez, they're fighting on the same card as me on the undercard. They're amateur. Should be their last amateur fights after they beat the crap out of these guys. Gerald Mirashart, always helping me out. Mike Biggie Rhodes, always helping me out. Appreciate all those guys. Then, sponsors, Combat Corner, get the best gear in the world. If you're not using Combat Corner, you don't care about your training partners or your own health. Grip Mouth Guards, 1740 Beard Balm, Raw Dog in Sheboygan, Champ Sports Bar in Sheboygan, Advanced Spine Care and Wellness, as always. Iowa Bison Company for supporting me with the meat. Three Chiefs Brewing Company here in Sheboygan. My manager, SEG. My boy Emmanuel Sanchez that I just forgot about. He's got his big Bellator fight coming up. He's been helping me a lot too. Shout out to my wife. She helps me with everything. As always, she helps me cut weight, cooks all my meals, keeps me on point. My mom and my dad, they help me out so much, always supporting, and everybody else, all my fans, all my family, all my friends. I love you all, and above all, I gotta thank God. He blesses me every day, and can't be here without him.
Well, as always, Nate, it's always a pleasure talking with you, brother. And you know where to find us if there's anything we can ever help you with. Best of skill on this upcoming fight here. Hopefully we get to see you in that title fight. Hopefully we get to see you in the UFC. Within the next calendar year. That's
the plan.
Your resume stacking up there, brother. It ain't gonna be long before they ain't gonna be able to say I can't keep Nate out no more. Nastiness is coming to the UFC.
You can't ignore me longer. About to be 10-2 with 8 finishes.
Yeah, man.
All right, take it easy, guys.